So good afternoon and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Leadership Northern Colorado Leadership Moment. It is November 9th and we are thrilled to welcome Sarah Swanty with the Animal Friends Alliance. I'm going to quickly get us through a few housekeeping items before we dive into the interview. First, we want to thank you for taking time to view this video and for engaging with Leadership Northern Colorado. I want to take a moment to recognize and thank our sponsors. So I'm going to do a quick screen share here just so we can recognize and thank Elevations Credit Union and UC Health for being sponsors of Leadership Northern Colorado and allowing us to continue this great series of leadership moment interviews. So we want to just also acknowledge the many community leaders that are still part of the Leadership Northern Colorado Steering Committee. And we are excited to announce that applications for the 2023 class will be available here in the next week or so. So depending on when you're viewing this, we hope that you are aware of the Leadership Northern Colorado application process and know that those are coming out mid-November as we build the 2023 class. So final point of business before we dive into questions, we want to make sure that everyone joins us for our December Leadership Moment event. We are looking to see if that will be hosted live or as a video, but watch your email just to stay in tune with that opportunity for connecting with us in December. So thank you again, Sarah, for taking time and being here today. We have just a few questions. We'll keep this interview to 30 minutes. But first, if you can start off, you've got a few minutes to share with us a little about who you are and what you do in our community.
Sure. Great. Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I am Sarah Swanty. I have lived in Northern Colorado now for 30 years. Daughter, sister, mother of 3 little boys. I'm a Loveland High School graduate, followed by a Colorado State University graduate. And I am also what you all are probably most interested in hearing about, the co-founder and executive director of Animal Friends Alliance. And I was one of the co-founders of Fort Collins Cat Rescue and Spay Neuter Clinic. So those that don't know the full history, that nonprofit organization was founded in 2006. And then in 2020, Fort Collins Cat Rescue merged with Animal House Rescue and Grooming, and we became Animal Friends Alliance. So my work now is having the absolute privilege of leading an amazing team of people to save animals in Northern Colorado and beyond, help people, and really make our community a better place.
Awesome. Thank you. And Sarah, you're a Leadership Northern Colorado graduate as well?
I am.
Yes.
I meant to mention that as one of my local graduations.
Yes.
And I'm also a certified animal welfare administrator.
Incredible. Well, good. Thank you for all the work you do. I'm thrilled to hear that you're local to the community for many, many years and a proud RAM alum. I am as well.
Go
so
Rams.
Go Rams. Yes. Do you have anything really exciting coming up for your organization in the next year? You know,
gosh, yes.
What gets you up in the morning, gets you excited about the work you're doing?
Yeah, your timing was so perfect to invite me to do this because we have something really amazing happening. My work has been focused the last couple of years, not only on the successful merger to become Animal Friends Alliance, but a capital campaign to expand our animal shelter. And we are moving into our new space the week of Thanksgiving. We literally got our certificate of occupancy today. Wow. This was, the timing was so great. This was a $2.8 million project that is allowing us to move all of our shelter animals under one roof. So prior to the merger, Animal House had a facility and Fort Collins Cat Rescue had a facility, and we still have both facilities. We're still keeping both facilities. However, because of this amazing project we've been able to complete, we're restructuring the use of the facilities. So the week of Thanksgiving, we'll be moving all of our adoptable cats and kittens to our now expanded shelter at 2200 North Taft Hill Road. And November 26th, which is the first Saturday after Thanksgiving, if I'm getting my date right, maybe I should look at the calendar. Yep, I'm right. Will be our first day operating out of that new space, offering adoptions to our community members. So we are like crazy excited. There's so much happening right now, preparing for the move. For those that don't know, the cat rescue has been operating, excuse me, the cat part of Animal Friends Alliance, I should say, but the cat rescue prior to the merger has literally been operating out of a strip mall built in the 70s. So the work that our organization has been able to do in facilities that were never intended to house animals and certainly never intended to function as an animal shelter, it's been incredible. And so we are beyond enthusiastic and excited about what we're going to be able to do with a facility that was actually built for this work.
Congratulations. That is such serendipitous
Thanks.
timing that we get
Yes.
to be here together, and not only the day that you get your CO, but as you look forward to in the coming weeks, the big move and then the new opening. So
Yes.
congratulations. That's
Thank you.
exciting stuff.
And yeah, I'm just so grateful to the community. I always remind my team that we don't exist without the support of the community. We wouldn't exist if the community didn't believe in the work that we're doing and want us here. So it's a congratulations to the community for making that decision that this is something that our community cares about and is passionate about and wants to do a better job at. So yeah, it's incredible.
Awesome. So kind of on the flip side of that coin, you've shared with us some really exciting stuff coming. As a leader in our community and in the work you do, we love the question of what keeps you up at night. What are those things that are the most challenging for you as a leader in your role?
Oh gosh, that's such a good question. Being in the nonprofit space, what keeps me up most often at night or worries me is tends to be, of course, related to money, having the resources that are necessary to perform the work that we are performing. So, and I know that's not unique to us. That's something that all nonprofits experience because it can just always feel like such a struggle to, on one end, have a community that's asking you to do more and help more. And then on the other end, feeling like the resources just aren't there to help everyone that needs help. So that's a real struggle. And I think just as a leader and in my role and having been here for the entire life of the organization, I think there's just always a little bit of that fear of making the wrong decision and letting down this organization and these people and these animals that you care so much about. And we've made some really big decisions, especially the last few years around the merger, around do we try to build a new building during a pandemic? And the world has just changed so much in the last couple of years. So those are the sort of things that keep me up is how do we continue to fund things at this level that we want, and how am I sure that I'm making the best decision to support my team and the organization and the mission, and not let anybody down.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, it sounds like some of those hard decisions that you made months, if not years ago, have led to where you are this month and the exciting future you have there to look forward to on North Capitol. That's all good stuff. So when we think big picture and regionally, how does the work that you're doing and your organization impact Northern Colorado and our region? And I think it goes beyond saving one animal's life and the joy they can bring to their family. But what is the work you do around education and all of the roles you play with your organization impacts Northern Colorado?
That was such a good question. So, and there's so many ways to answer that, right? Because like you just mentioned, there's small scale and there's large scale, and there's so many things in between, and the work that we're doing and the effect it has. Since my work began, since Animal Friends Alliance started in 2006, the impact on the pet overpopulation in northern Colorado has been absolutely incredible. So I actually pulled up some, data that I was looking at right before we had this interview. When I first got started in animal welfare here locally, there were about 8,000, 8,500 animals being euthanized in our local shelter every year, including healthy kittens. There were just too many animals. There weren't enough spay-neuter resources. There was not enough education in our community about what happens to that accidental litter of kittens or puppies if you don't find them a home. And that number has dropped down now to less than 2,500 a year. So that's a significant difference. And well, myself and my organization certainly can't or won't take all the credit for that. We've done some pretty incredible things over the last 16 and a half years, including performing over 80,000 spay neuter procedures on dogs and cats in our community, with a special emphasis on high risk animals. So people that have fewer resources and are going to have and struggle to have that sort of veterinary care done for their animals. So we have literally changed the face of animal welfare in northern Colorado, to the extent that our organization and other organizations that adopt animals out are actually bringing animals into our community from other communities that still struggle with a pet overpopulation problem, particularly around dogs. Animal Friends Alliance, we adopt out about 1,100 dogs per year, and very few of those dogs come from our community. Most of them are coming in from areas like Texas and New Mexico, Oklahoma, areas where there aren't spay neuter resources, where there's still just this huge population of homeless animals. And what a blessing to be able to live in a community that has these resources, and to where our community members are educated, and when they're ready to add to their family, an animal to their family, they want to adopt. They know that the right thing to do is to adopt a homeless animal. So we're saving so many lives in these communities where these animals are at risk of euthanasia, by being able to bring them into northern Colorado and put them in these loving homes. And that feels really, really awesome. Also, I would say, we have an impact on the economy. We've got 60 staff members at this point at Animal Friends Alliance, so we're employing 60 people. Our budget is next year going to be over $4 million, and we're helping about 13,000 animals a year with our services. So, so much of what we're doing, I mean, we all want Fort Collins and northern Colorado to be the best place to live, and the sort of services that we're providing that not only place homeless animals into loving homes, but also help to keep animals in their loving home and out of the shelter, I believe is a really important piece of that puzzle of being an incredible place to live.
Awesome. Thank you. And I have to agree, our furry friends sure make life even a little bit more joyful. So
They sure do. Yes.
As we think about your role as a leader, if you can reflect back over your time with the organization and since the inception, share some of your biggest points of success and those things that you were really proud of in your work.
Yeah. Well, there's many over the years, but there are two recent that I've touched on, of course, that I can't not talk about. One being the merger to become Animal Friends Alliance. This was, it was a big deal. It was a process that took about 18 months prior to the merger actually happening, to take two nonprofit organizations and turn them into one, to work with two boards of directors, two groups of volunteers, two different employee groups, supporters, and get this consensus around this idea that by coming together, bringing these two well-known, reputable organizations in the community together, we can pool our resources and help more animals. And that may seem like an obvious thing, but it wasn't to everyone, right? And it really had to be a very thoughtful process with a lot of due diligence. And so Allie Eccleston, who was the executive director at Animal House at the time, and we had a lot of work ahead of us to get through this process, and not everybody was on board, but most people could see the vision that her and I shared as to what we could do by coming together. And we do like to joke, of course, about bringing cat people and dog people together is not an easy task. And we certainly dealt with a few people that, were just really unhappy that their preferred species was going to have to share space and resources with the other. But they were the minority. The majority of people that care about animals in our community and the work that we were doing were very much on board with the idea of this merger. And certainly there were times, I think, throughout the process where I went, oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing? But I never lost sight of what we could do by coming together, and my love for both organizations and my passion about what we were trying to achieve. And now that we've been Animal Friends Alliance for almost 2 years, I am so fortunate to be able to look back at that decision and know that it was the right thing. I don't know how either organization would have fared on its own through the pandemic and the challenges associated with the pandemic. And not only did we survive the pandemic, we actually broke records both in 2020 and in 2021 in a couple of categories of animals helped. The largest number of dog adoptions we'd ever done in 2020, and then we broke that record again last year. And then the number of cats helped through our community cat program, and that was possible because of the merger and pooling our resources. And then, of course, the other thing would be the capital campaign, bringing paws together and having it fully funded, and now being at this point in which we're getting ready to move into this beautiful new animal shelter that's going to empower us to save even more lives. So that's a huge win.
Yes, yes. Thank you for sharing those successes. I think often as leaders, we don't brag enough. So this is your platform. And it's so good to hear from people and sharing those powerful moments in their career and being able to reflect on those. So
yeah, thanks. And with both of those, I mean, it was really scary to make that decision to merge, and it was really scary to make that decision to launch that capital campaign. So, woo, on the other end.
Got it. Yes. Now you'll have to, take a moment and kind of sit in that success and then even dream future, right? What's that next big core challenge?
I know everybody's already like, what's next? And it's like, oh my gosh.
Let's sit here in this for a little bit. Yeah. To kind of shift gears just a tiny bit, do you have a favorite leadership book that you'd like to recommend and share with those who view this video?
I do, and it probably will be a familiar one, I suspect, to lots of people. My favorite is Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. I read that, I don't, probably in 2019. Gosh, you know what? I think maybe I first found out about Brene Brown in Leadership Northern Colorado, now that I think about it. And I'm like, who is this woman that everyone is talking about? So I read Dare to Lead, and it was, everything she talks about is so simple, and yet some of it was just mind blowing for me, right? Where it was like this simple thing, it makes so much sense. And if I can just implement this, I'll be a better leader. And I think the one thing that she says that I had it written on my whiteboard in my office for a long time, and I still think of often, is the clear is kind and unclear is unkind. And just that saying, that alone has, I believe, made me a better leader. Remembering that. So I think Brene Brown is great. And I think that book is amazing and can definitely be life-changing for people if they haven't read it yet. I had my whole development team, after I read it, I had everybody on that team read it, and I still have several copies of the book at my organization so I can lend them to people on my team.
That's awesome. Yes, we've got a number of our steering committee members that are big Brene Brown fans. And exciting to hear that you may have connected initially with her through the leadership program. That's incredible. So, one more kind of fun random question we like to ask many of our participants, just as a point of kind of keeping us all in check and reminding us that we all started somewhere. Share with us your very first job, the kind of job where you got a paycheck that had some deductions and
Okay.
what was your first job?
Yeah. Gosh, you know what? It would have been McDonald's in Loveland, the one on Eisenhower with the big play place.
Yes,
I
yes,
worked in the play place. Uh,
awesome.
yes, I did birthday parties and I had to clean the play place, of course. That was my first real job. Yeah.
Incredible organization for sure. This is putting me on the spot as we've done a number of these interviews, but so I'm not going to share directly, but I know that there are at least two other special guests that we've had in this series that started their careers at McDonald's. So there's
Yeah.
something to be said for
Yeah, my
those
best friend got a
initial
job there
trainings.
first, and then she was like, "You gotta come work here with me." I mean, I was 15 and it was like, this sounds great.
Yeah, yeah, incredible place.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much for sharing your time with Leadership Northern Colorado. And we are excited to offer this video series. So thank you for joining me on Zoom today. I want to
Yeah.
take just another minute to recognize our sponsors, and I'll screen share quickly. So again, we want to thank Elevations Credit Union and UC Health for supporting not only these leadership moment interviews, but also for supporting Leadership Northern Colorado throughout the program year. As mentioned before, it is the middle of November, so we will be releasing applications for the program. So definitely connect with one of your chamber partners. Again, Leadership Northern Colorado is made up of the Loveland Chamber of Commerce, the Greeley Area Chamber, and the Fort Collins Area Chamber. So we look forward to reaching out through those organizations, as well as the Community Foundation, both in Weld County and Northern Colorado, as we promote this next class. So Sarah, thank you so much. Congratulations again on the opening of the
Thanks.
new facility. We look forward to celebrating with you all here in a few weeks as you get ready to move in, and wish everybody well as you're continuing on with your day.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Amanda. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
thanks, Sarah.